Hey friends. I know it has been a while. A while. I thought about like looking back and checking when my last episode was, and then I realized I really don't need to do that because let's be honest, I've maybe uploaded like two, maybe three episodes this entire year, so I know it has not been my year when it comes to the Becoming Miriam podcast. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. That's okay because you know what? I'm here right now. And it is the last day of the year. So it is December 31st, 2025 that I'm recording this. It's about 6 p.m. So my day is wrapping up. It's already dark outside. I don't have plans to go out or anything like that. So yeah, I'm just in that end of day, end of year headspace. And I have been thinking about the podcast a lot lately. And I feel like even when I have really inconsistent years, I'm pretty sure I didn't look, but I'm pretty sure I always do like an end of year recap type of episode. And so I thought that that could be like the perfect little excuse to at least record something. Because again, the podcast really has been on my mind a lot recently. For obviously probably a few different reasons. One, so holidays are wrapping up, and I know I've talked about holidays tend to be a little difficult for me, and I definitely was feeling that in the thick of the holidays. I was definitely feeling just like the blues, the sads, just I don't know. And obviously, we know here that this podcast started in a pretty dark place for me, and it started off as a place for me to kind of express myself and really process and work through all the thoughts that are in my mind. Some of them specifically to mental health and like my own mental health journey. And so I think because of that, like I know that it's a safe space for me to come and to explore and to really just express myself and talk and do all the things. And so when I was kind of struggling this past holiday season, I think, I started thinking about the podcast, and I started thinking about like, I should come and talk to the podcast and like get things out of my head. But schedule and life has just been really, really busy this year. And so I haven't had a moment to sit down and yap. But again, I feel like even when my years with the podcast are inconsistent, like at the least I normally do a yearly, like end of year recap. And so perfect excuse. Again, it's sorry. There was a hair like on my face and I could feel it and I needed to get it off. Anyways, also if you do happen to watch the video today, I almost didn't want to record an episode because I am not ready. Like, I have just been kind of laying around. I had to work today, rude, but I've just kind of been laying around, so I have no makeup on. My hair is kind of a mess. I need to wash it real bad. Point is, I'm looking a little rough. So if you do watch the video, I don't know. If you watch the video, you watch the video. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So anyways, how have you guys been? I hope you guys have all been doing great. And I hope you guys have all had a wonderful 2025. And I hope everyone is in a good headspace to transition into 2026. And I hope 2026 is another amazing, phenomenal year for everyone. So, yeah, quick little check-in. Also, that's what I was going to say. If you're watching the video, well, I wasn't going to say that, but I should have. I dyed my hair green again. So anyone that knows me a few years back, no, it's been a lot, a lot of years. I think at one point in my life, I had green hair, and like green hair Miriam was like in my mind, like the like peak version of myself. I love the green hair like so much. And, but I like obviously got rid of it, and then like I wanted to go green again. But the first time that I dyed my hair green, I paid several hundreds of dollars because obviously you gotta like bleach it and do all the things. And it was like the first time it was like full green. Like it didn't come up to my roots, like it wasn't full green, but like the whole bottom half was like full green. And so it was pretty expensive. And I went to a great hairstylist. Point is, it was very expensive. And I don't have money like that. And so I thought, like, I have really bad all or nothing thinking. We've talked about that. But I get really bad all or nothing thinking. And I thought, like, if I ever dye my hair green again, because I've been wanting to dye my hair green again, but if I ever dye my hair green again, like, I set the standard too high already. And so I knew, like, I just couldn't afford to do that again. But I just kept wanting green hair and wanting green hair and wanting green hair. And you know what? Life is too short to not just be happy with whatever. And so I had to convince myself that, like, you know what? I need to just ask about like an affordable way of dyeing my hair green, like whether it be a money piece or like something cheap. And so I inquired and I got highlights, and it was still maybe an irresponsible, because I dyed it like right before the holidays and like I had done zero Christmas shopping. So definitely could have used the money for like Christmas shopping and stuff. So still a little bit of an irresponsible financial decision, but I think it was like $160 or something. And I got green highlights, which I do love. Obviously, it's not as green as it was the first time, but I do love it because I feel like it's, and it turns out everyone else likes it. Well, I don't know about likes it more, but like my mom really likes it a lot more than the first time. Because obviously like highlights, my dark hair is still more prominent, I guess. Like it's not like full green. Like, in fact, my dad hasn't actually said anything about my green hair, but the first time I had green hair, he like made a joke, and it's like my favorite joke ever. And he was like, the cows are gonna like try to eat your hair because they're gonna think it's grass. Anyways, I think about that comment all the time because I think it's hilarious. Anyways, so I have like green highlights, which again isn't. No, I do. I love it a lot now. Like at first, again, I think it just took a little bit of convincing because I just really love green hair, and so I wanted it like all green. But I think the green highlights are great, and of course, like a little bit more of a subtle way, so not always super noticeable. But that's okay, because you know what? Some green is better than no green. Anyways. Sorry, got a little sidetracked about the green hair, but what was I have no plan, I never have an outline for my podcast, but I have no plan coming into this. I literally was like bed rotting, and then I was like, do a podcast, Miriam, do a podcast, like end of your podcast, because I'm telling you, I was mentally debating, because I'm like, girl, I don't want to put on any makeup, I don't want to do my hair, like I was like, I gotta get ready in order to get on the camera. And then I thought like, I'll just do an audio podcast, but then I was like, nah. Anyways, I'm sorry. I get a little distracted. Anyways, I do have kind of a little list of some of my 2025 highlights that I'll jump into, but I want to like overall do kind of just a general recap of like where I've been, how I've been, and what this year mostly consisted of, which has been a lot of work. It's been just a lot of working, and I think I want probably the one freaking episode that I uploaded this year. I think I talked about kind of before I got into my internship for my master's program. And so I think, that was, again, one of like the one of the few things that I talked about on the podcast this year. So if anybody recalls that, me mentioning that is point is that I've been doing my internship this year, and it has been just a lot. It's just been a lot of work, truly. So I started my internship earlier this year. I want to say it was like March. And again, I'll do like an actual recap throughout the year. But overall, internship, that's really where my focus has been, is my master's program and kind of doing this last big chapter to kind of wrap it up and be done. I am not yet done, but I'm very, very close. And by very, very close, I mean like weeks, like a very few weeks away from being done. So very close for real. But yeah, the entire year has really been just that, and my schedule has been kind of just overwhelming and a little bit of madness for me. I know I, over the years, have had to learn and accept myself and accept that my mind works differently, and being neurodivergent just looks different than neurotypical, and what that means for me, I guess, really. And I have always really struggled with, and you guys have probably seen me on this journey if you've been around since the beginning, but like I've always really struggled with the whole like other people can handle it, why can't I type of mental type of thoughts. Like I really struggle. And so like when I say that like my workload and my schedule has been a lot, like I need people to understand that like I don't know if it would be a lot to others, but it was a lot for me. And what I was able to obviously I managed because like I've been doing it, but there's been a lot of things that I've had to like let go of or just like deal with because I just didn't have the brain power to do everything at such a high standard like I would like. And so it's that's been really challenging because so like for example my days look like this most of the time. I shifted my regular work up, like my regular 9 to 5 job. I shifted my hours and my schedule. So I start work at 6 a.m. and I work until 3. And then I have to be at my internship usually at like 3:30. And 6 to 3, I do still, like, I made sure that I still have an hour lunch because your girl needs it. But even then, my hour lunch typically looks like me getting ready because I'm not a morning person, guys. No matter how much I try, I'm just not a morning person. And so starting work at 6 a.m., I'm waking up at like 5:50. Like, let's be honest. Like, I am not waking up at 5 and getting ready for the day like I wish. But again, like, it's just not where I'm at right now. And so I start work at 6. I do get an hour lunch. But again, usually during that lunch, I'm trying to fit as much as I can in, which is either like getting ready for the day, actually eating, if there's like homework that I'm behind on or notes that I'm behind on. Like, I'm trying to do a lot in that 1 hour. And sometimes, honestly, I'm exhausted. And sometimes that hour looks like me literally doing nothing, literally just doing nothing. And then again, I'm off at 3. And then I usually have to be like at my internship around 3:30 because I start at 4 with sessions. And then with my availability, I really only can fit clients in after hours, like after work hours. So in those, so 4, and then I'm there till like 8. And then after that, I have to do the notes for all the sessions and like do my like hours and tracking, whatever. So rounding on a good day, I'm done at 9. And or I also have to fit in eating because usually I'm starving. And so 9:30, and then I'm going to bed at like 10. But let's be honest, I'm bad at going to sleep because then I'm like, finally I get a moment to myself, and then I start doom scrolling or like putting a show on, or I don't even know. I'm going to bed at like 11, and then I got to do it all over again. So it is hard. Obviously, that's like my standard day. One day a week I have school, so I like after work I have to like do a Zoom class for school. So that day looks a little bit different, but even still, like I have school after, and so I'm not done as late, but I'm done at like 6 usually, and then that's also later in the week, and so by that point, I'm exhausted and I'm like just over the entire week. But like, yeah. And then every other week, I have like a meeting at my internship, like a mandatory like group supervision meeting. So those days also look a little bit different, where like I still start work at 6. But instead of taking like a lunch, I have to like leave in the middle of the day for 3 hours so that I can go to this meeting and then come back. And then I have to clock back into work and then finish the rest of my 8 hours. And so those days I'm also usually done at like 6. And so, yeah, the days just feel really jam packed, which is hard for me because again, when I do actually have a moment to myself, I just feel so like exhausted and burnt out and just over it. And so, yeah, it's been hard to like fit in time for other things, I guess. And then on the weekends, like it's no better. We all probably know that I try to help out at the farmers markets and like get some extra money that way. So some weekends include that. Some weekends I'm trying to like spend time with family and like, going to visit my mom, or like if there's family events or friend events, like my brain just doesn't, like my brain truly, in like the simplest terms, my brain can handle like one major event a day. And so I get really, really bad ADHD paralysis. I get like, if I have one, like I can't, I really struggle where it's like, well, just play, like I can't book more than one big thing a day. And by big thing, I literally mean like anything that's planned, like I can handle one thing a day. And so it makes it hard because like if I want to clean and be productive at home, like that is a really big thing. But again, like I'm exhausted and I'm tired. And so that's one of those areas of my life where I feel like have really just kind of fallen apart, and I've had to just accept that because like I quite literally don't have the brain power for more. Like I've been so burnt out, and I've just been like literally burnt out is just the easiest words that I could use. I've just been really burnt out, and so when I do have a break, a lot of times it's really hard for me to even like try to do anything with it because I'm like exhausted and I just want to like sleep or lay and do nothing and not think. But again, I don't have enough time in my schedule to have enough breaks to catch up, and then also enough time to like be productive and clean and do yard work and work on my hobbies and crafts and yeah, it's been hard, and it's been hard to accept, I guess. It's just been hard to like just let it like just I'm doing the best I can, but it never feels like enough because I've talked about it here. Like I want to ensure that I still prioritize the things that make me happy because that's what keeps me sane. And it sucks when I don't have the time to do that. Or like when I do try that, like again, like if I do make plans on the weekend instead of cleaning, then like, cool, that's great. I'm having a good time with like friends and family or whatever. But then I get back home and my house is a mess, and like that stresses me out because obviously I live here, so I have to wake up and get out of bed and see just the disaster that I'm living in, and it's like too much. It's too much. And so that's what my year has looked like. It's looked like burnout. It's looked like burnout. And I still can't seem to catch up. I am feeling a little refreshed this week because I had some time off for the holidays, which I think helped a lot. And it's funny because like I'm telling you, I've been in like bad burnout recently. And so at my internship, like talking to my supervisor, I've mentioned it, like, yeah, I'm over the year, like I'm really burnt out. And of course, like trying to be supportive, they're like, oh, well, make sure you try to rest and make sure you try whatever. And so over the holiday break, I knew I would have some time off. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool, perfect. Gotta be productive. I gotta clean. I gotta do yard work. I gotta do XYZ. And again, like the expectation for the break was to just work in different areas of life. Cleaning, like all of that stuff is work, and just again in a different way. And I ended up like staying at my mom's and not doing absolutely any of that. Like the entire break, I just stayed at my mom's and like hung out with my family and was just around. And at first I was like, I'm going to get back home and like, then I'm going to beat myself up because, I had all these days as a break and like I didn't do anything productive with them. But I got home and I like actually felt refreshed because again, like mentally I was like clocked out for several days. And I'm like, I've had this entire year just like go, go, go. And I had 4 days off where I was able to literally just relax and do nothing. And so I ended up being really happy that I stayed at my mom's because again, I know that if I would have came home, I would have just been like beating myself up about like, we need to clean, we need to like do this, we need to do that. And being away from the house, I think, again, it just really like, I had no choice. I couldn't clean my house. I wasn't at my house. So, like, I really was just, like, resting. And so it was still productive, just not in, like, the mental productive way that I thought productivity should look like, because again, like, resting is productive. Genuine rest is productive. And that's such a thing that I know I'm not the only one. I think so many people struggle with, like, with just adjusting and reframing what productivity looks like. And again, like, people rest but then feel guilty for rest, I think a lot of times, because we have, again, this expectation or this idea of, like, what it's supposed to look like, what being productive is supposed to look like, what self-care is supposed to look like, when in reality, like, that's just work, just, again, work in different areas of life or in different ways. And yes, that is productive, but when we're burnt out and when our mind and body is exhausted, sometimes doing absolutely nothing and, like, sleeping in and resting and just spending time with family, like, that is productive as well, because again, like, it actually helps us feel refreshed. Anyways, all that to say is that this week I have been feeling a little bit more, like, rested and, like, just in a better headspace, I guess, now that the holidays have passed. And again, I got a few days off. This week I did, go back to work. But, with the new year, I get a little bit of a break in the middle of the week, which is also nice. I did mention that I think that I work today, but I'm off tomorrow. And so it's funny because, like, I'm doing all this yapping, and in my mind, my expectation for tomorrow is to be productive in, like, the other ways that I mentioned, like cleaning, doing yard work, trying to, like, goal set or, like, set up my bullet journal or, like, just things like that. Like, that is my mental expectation for tomorrow's day off. So we shall see how that goes. But either way, I'm excited to have a day off tomorrow, like another full day off. And we'll see how the day goes. And then I do have a long day Friday, because again, right back to it. But then it's Saturday and Sunday. And I do have plans with friends this weekend. And so I'm hoping, because again, going back to, like, my brain can handle one thing a day. And so I hope that I can still have plans, but also still try to work on some stuff at home, because it's a new year. And if anyone knows me, you know that I love any excuse for a fresh start is a good excuse. And I, like, am really looking forward to 2026. Surprisingly, I know, again, it's always been kind of a trend with me that, like, the New Year's have been hard for the past several years. And this year I am feeling really positive, and I am just, like, truly looking forward to it, because you know what? I'm starting the year off with, like, one of my biggest accomplishments, which is finishing my master's degree. Finishing my master's degree, I will be done with my master's degree. And so I think that is going to mentally, like, hopefully feel really good. And so if that's how I'm starting the year, like, it can only go up from there. And also I think I'm hoping that 2026 can give me a lot of time back to invest into, again, my hobbies and a lot of, like, the fun creative things that I enjoy and have really not done this year. And so I think my mind, like, thinks, like, we'll be done with school, like, great, we won't have to have, like, this madness of a schedule. But realistically, my schedule is not really going to change at all. It's going to change, like, slightly, but, like, really, no, it's not going to change at all, because the reality of becoming a therapist is kind of scammy. I'm saying that dramatically, obviously, but, like, yes, of course, I got into the field because I want to help people and, like, I want to make a difference in some way. But also, like, I still deserve to live a normal life, or, like, live a, like, comfortable life, or just, like, not be struggling. And, like, becoming a therapist is, I mean, again, like, there's probably a lot more to it and a lot of different directions that I could go, but I guess like one of the more common ways is I would be an independent contractor, and independent contractors don't get benefits, and I'm just not ready for that type of commitment. And it's also very inconsistent with pay because therapists, we only get paid for the actual direct hours that we are with clients. Example, like if I have an appointment and then I bill the insurance for that, and like that's all the money I make. It doesn't matter how much extra time I take to do notes or to like do research or to do anything else. None of that is paid because, again, like I get paid from the insurance companies who only pay for the actual time that I'm with a client. And so obviously that could fluctuate depending on the clients. Like the holiday season brings a lot of cancellations, like a lot, because people are busy and the holidays just kind of get chaotic for a lot of people. And so point is, it can be very inconsistent with the pay. And again, like there's no benefits. It's just me, right? Like I'm not married. I don't have anyone else that I can like be on their insurance. And so I'm not ready to like leave my 9 to 5. And so the plan is to just keep my schedule as it is, do my 9 to 5 from 6 to 3, and then in the evenings do clients. And ideally my plan is to, as I start making money from clients, and also I didn't mention this too, but like fresh out of grad school, I still need to take my NCE, like my licensing test. And so I have to apply for a temporary license. And then once I take my actual test, then from there I get an associate license. And then from the associate license, I think it's like 1,600 hours that I need under a supervisor. And so that'll take, especially doing this only part-time, like it'll take me a solid, I don't know, 3 years minimum probably. And so the associate license, I need to pay for supervision. And so supervisors will sometimes do like a split. And so like, for example, a 50-50 split. And so, for example, if we bill the insurance $100, I get $50 of that. My supervisor gets the other 50. And so I already wouldn't make as much money as like, someone that's been doing this for a lot of years and like has their own private practice and blah, blah, blah. So just another point of like it's not the most consistent and secure income. And again, at this point in my life, I already live paycheck to paycheck. I can't risk not making a paycheck, So anyways, yeah, all that to add to that. But, yeah, so what was I'm talking about my schedule. So anyways, I think mentally I have this idea that next year will look a lot better because I'll be done with school. But again, like I am not really going to change my schedule. So I don't actually know if it'll be better. Like I'll still have these really long days. My hope and my goal is to just try to, I don't know, like adjust better so that I can manage my weekends a little bit better. Because yeah, I still probably will only be able to like plan for the fun stuff on the weekends. And there's only 2 days on the weekend, unfortunately. We really should move to 4-day work weeks. But who am I? So yeah, we'll see how the new year goes. Obviously, one day at a time, one step at a time, and I'm doing my best. And that's all I can do, girl. That's all I can do. So that was a lot of yapping on just like overall recap. Now I do want to chat a little bit about some of the highlights of 2025. Yeah. And I love, so last year I did my recap. Actually, I don't know. I can't remember, okay? But what I do remember is because mentally I had bigger plans for my recap last year. But the one thing that I was able to for sure accomplish was I called it like the 12 days of Christmas. And so the 12 days leading up to Christmas, like each day was a different month of 2024. And so the first day of Christmas, I don't know, was January all the way to the 12th day of Christmas on Christmas, which was December. And I made like mini vlogs. I should have rewatched them. I made mini vlogs on each month and I posted them each day. And that was one of my favorite like little personal projects that I've ever done, because I think that, I mean, I guess I should only speak for myself, but I feel like the years, especially when it's such a busy year, like you get to the end and like I was saying, like I'm like exhausted and burnt out and I'm just over it. And sometimes I think it's hard to just remember that like there was so many highlights still in the year, even with the madness that it was as a whole. And yeah, I feel like by the end of the year, you kind of forget everything from the start of the year. And so the project that I did last year, again, I wanted it to also transition into like a full YouTube vlog. And then I was going to do a podcast episode, and I actually don't remember if I did now. I think I started this podcast by saying every year I do a recap video or a recap episode, and I have no clue if I did it last year or not. Because again, I had plans, and the only one I was able to execute was the social media one, and I like posted them to my Instagram. And again, like I did like a monthly recap, and I posted one every day. And yeah, all that to say, it was one of my favorite projects because I did it at the end of the year, obviously, is when I had to put them all together. And that obviously forced me to go back and reflect, because I'm like going back and finding videos and footages and like, okay, what did I do in January of this year, in February, March, like it forces you to go back and reflect. And last year I had one of like objectively, like looking back at it, like such an incredible year. It was awesome. It was great. And if you haven't seen my little mini vlogs, you'll have to scroll a bit, but they are still on my Instagram. And again, one of my favorite little projects that I did. So I like going back and watching my own content. You guys maybe don't care. But point is, they're up there, so feel free to go watch them because they were fun to make and also had such a fun year last year. Anyways, I wanted to do that again this year. Unfortunately, I did not have the time, mental power, none of it. I just couldn't do it. Sadly. But at the beginning of this month, I think I started thinking about that. And I'm like, oh, I really want to try to do like the 12 days of Christmas project again. Or like, what else can I do if I can't do that? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just wanted to make sure that I somehow looked back and reflected. Because again, by the end of the year, especially this year, like your girl's burnt out. And like, I was just like happy to make it through. And then it wasn't until I started thinking about my reflection that I actually was like, wait a second, I had some great highlights this year. Like, yes. And so while I wasn't able to do a more comprehensive breakdown of the year in a reflection, I guess, a reflection piece, I don't know what I'm even saying, honestly. I don't know how to speak, honestly. I at least want to talk about some of the main points. So let's start in January. We started the year off strong. Flagstaff trip. I don't know. I couldn't say Flagstaff for some reason. Flagstaff trip. Orlando came out. Orlando's my best friend. He lives in California. Very rude that he lives there, but whatever. Anyways, Orlando came to town. And honestly, I think it was like literally the first weekend of this year that we went up to Flagstaff and just had I think it was just a day trip. It was just a day trip. But it was, again, a great way to start the year. Beautiful. And so we did a little Flagstaff trip. I'm pretty sure I did do a little mini vlog of that one on my YouTube. See, I did start the year off strong, girl. Like I did a whole mini vlog for that one day trip. And then the rest of the year, I don't think I did any. No, I did. I don't even know. Whatever. So started off with the Flagstaff day trip, which was really nice. Another big one that I had totally forgotten about is I went to an Amor Amigas event by myself. And we know that like I'm scared of strangers and I'm scared of doing things by myself. And I went to that event all alone. And so shout out to me for that. And it's funny because I think one of the big reasons that I went to that is because like I was behind on looking for an internship. I don't know if we talked about that, but I was really behind. Like my school account went inactive for a little bit because like I had finished all my classes, and the next class I couldn't start until I started my internship, and I hadn't even started looking. I hadn't applied, nothing. I really wanted to at that time too. Like I really wanted to find a supervisor or find a site that maybe worked with the Hispanic population and just minority population, because that is an area that I really love to focus on in my career as a therapist. And so the Amor Amigas event brings people from all, like, different people from all over the city or whatever. And I thought, it's obviously a networking event. And I was like, you know what, maybe. And so I had started sending a few like random cold messages out to a few people in the community, like just again asking like, hey, I'm starting my internship soon and I'd really love to work with the Hispanic population. Like, do you happen to have any connections? And so I had started sending out a few messages like that to some people, and the owner of Amor Amigas, she had replied and she was like, come to the event and I'll introduce you to some people. And I'm like, well, now I have to go, right? Like, she's literally telling me to be there so that she can introduce me to some people. And so I was like, okay, I'll see you there. And I was terrified, guys. Like, I don't do things by myself. I'm scared. Like, I'm a loser. And it sucks. But again, I felt a lot of the pressure of like, I really need to start connecting with people. Like, I need to find an internship because I am really behind. And also when the boss tells you, I'll see you here, I don't know, how do you just not show up, You have to show up. So I went to an Amor Amigas event all alone, and that was awesome. I ended up meeting a really nice lady there, and like thankfully she like adopted me for the event, and so I just kind of like clung to her the whole time, and she was a therapist, and so it was really cool to kind of connect with a few people. And so unfortunately, like, just in case you're curious on if that helped me find a site, unfortunately it did not, because again, Amor Amigas I think brings people from all over the valley, and so the like few connects that I was able to make, or like they were all on the East Valley, which is too far for me. So I still ended up having to just like search and reach out like a little bit more locally to me, and found my internship site that way. But again, obviously I don't regret going to this event, and very proud that I was able to do that by myself. The other great, amazing, phenomenal highlight of January was that Hurry Up Tomorrow dropped. If you don't, you should know. But I love The Weeknd. I love him with all my heart. I would die for him. And so he dropped Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is seen as like the end of The Weeknd. Like the persona of The Weeknd ends in 2025 with Hurry Up Tomorrow. Like, that's his final project as The Weeknd. And the theory is that he's going to start going by Abel. I actually don't think he's confirmed any of that, because then he went on tour. And so he's been on tour as The Weeknd. Sorry, my face just looks oily, and so it's stressing me out, so that's why I keep rubbing it. Anyways. So Hurry Up Tomorrow dropped the final Weeknd album, and it was the most beautiful thing ever. All of his albums are the most beautiful thing ever. But amazing. So happy that he dropped Hurry Up Tomorrow. Obviously, I could do a whole episode on The Weeknd, so let's move on. February, when I was looking back at like pictures and videos, I couldn't really find a lot in February, but I was probably just looking for internships, honestly, and stressing out about school, because again, like, this is probably the point where like I had gone inactive, and I'm like, girl, if you don't hurry up, like, you need to hurry up. And so February, I think, was just like internship search and then finding an internship, but then there's like paperwork, fingerprint clearance, like all this other stuff that like takes a little bit of time. And so February was probably just consumed with that. If I forgot anything in February, someone please remind me, because my memory is really bad. March was when I started my internship. And so, again, I couldn't really find any other like pictures or videos of like any other big somewhat big events for me. So just internship. I started my internship, and so obviously terrified for that. But also starting my internship meant I was back in class, and also I probably bought a few because, like, let's be honest, I dress like a homeless person most of the time, and now I'm like, wait, now I have to go in person and people are gonna see me, and so like I probably did a little bit of shopping. I don't know. But I started my internship and I became a therapist, an intern therapist, but I'm still somebody's therapist, so I'm still a therapist. April was Easter, which I like the few moments throughout this year where like I was able to like film and document things, I try to take advantage of, and a lot of them were like family time. And so Easter I wrote down because I put together a whole little family film, like vlog of Easter, which is on my YouTube. But I think at this point I really started shifting my mindset around filming, because like I think there's a lot of different directions to go, or different approaches to making content, making vlogs, filming, whatever. And I think when people have the intention of like growing their audience, getting big, like whatever, I think like you have to approach that strategically. And you know, like that's where like finding like the perfect length of videos and what kind of clips to include. And I didn't want to, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I do know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to find my words. And also, I didn't bring any water, and I'm really rusty on podcasting. And so I'm over here yapping for a long time, and I haven't drinking a sip of water. But the show must go on because I'm not getting up. But I am starting to get really thirsty, guys. Anyways, sorry, I got distracted. But I think at this point, I also really started kind of trying to shift my mindset where like I really love the creative parts, like the creative aspect of making content. And like it brings me a lot of joy. Like I started to realize this when like I think it was like maybe at one of the farmers markets, like we were like filming something, and like I was filming my cousin, and my cousin like had to do several takes of whatever we were recording. And I think I don't know for sure, but like I think I started to sense that he was getting a little discouraged, a little frustrated that like he couldn't nail it, and like we kept doing more takes. To me, I love the process of doing all the takes. I don't mind it at all. In fact, sometimes I get bored when I'm a one-take wonder. If I can knock it out in one take, boring, because I like to do this, right? And so like it actually brings me a lot of joy. And it's really fun. And when I started realizing, or just like, I guess just acknowledging that I actually enjoy it for the love of it, and not because like I want to be a huge influencer and I want to get free products and I want to do XYZ, like it genuinely fulfills me. It genuinely makes me happy. I also started to shift my mindset around. I'm trying to, because let's be honest, I haven't really uploaded anything. And so we'll see, you know, in the new year if what I'm saying holds true once I actually start uploading. But I really want to document memories, family time. Like I want to really like these vlogs and this content that I make, like genuinely it's a lot just for me. And like when I did the Easter vlog, like I tried to leave in a lot of just like moments that other people, you know, like the strangers in the public probably won't care about, but I think that like my family would care about it, because again, it's capturing family memories, and it's stuff that like I would love to and I do rewatch it. I'm my biggest fan, but I do love to like be able to hit play or like send the link to my cousins or my family, and like I want them to also get something out of it, you know, like, or just be able to relive those memories. So anyways, all that to say, for Easter, the reason I wrote it down as a highlight isn't necessarily because it was like, oh, Easter, we love this holiday. Like, no, sorry. But it was strictly because I I documented it. And again, like I didn't have a lot of successful moments of documenting things executing vlogs with the content that I filmed, but that one I was able to, and it's because I really wanted to like focus on capturing family memories and also putting something together that like my entire family could enjoy, and not just like, let me put together an aesthetic vlog that like's gonna help me grow my channel, like nothing like that. But yeah, anyways, moving on to May, and around this time my sister moved to New York, which I think is the most incredible thing ever. Like, don't get me wrong, we were all really sad before she moved, but it was like, I'm so proud of her, and I just feel like literally just like an immense amount of pride to be able to make such a big life move. Because again, people get like, speaking to about myself, but like people get so comfortable in life that we sometimes stop living, or stop chasing dreams, or stop thinking about trying new things. And so obviously she's still young, like she's younger than me, because I'm still young too, but she's younger than me, so she's still young. And so I'm just glad that she was able to follow a dream, because again, like, I know it's been a dream of hers forever, and for her to make it happen, I think is incredible. And it's truly something that, like, she always inspires me, but it's truly something that like has just inspired me tremendously. And I couldn't be more proud of that big move that she made. Yeah. So yeah, exciting. In May, okay. May was lit. Okay, we started May off with my first concert of the year. I didn't write down any other concerts, so I think it was my first concert of the year, which again, the previous year I like crushed it with concerts. This year not as much, but I obviously still had the best ones here. And it was The Weeknd, because again, I remember that I said that The Weeknd dropped Hurry Up Tomorrow earlier in the year. Well, he followed it up with a tour, which I did also give a hint about, because I said he was still on tour. Anyways, he went on tour. And again, this tour was like the end of The Weeknd, right? The last tour of The Weeknd, because The Weeknd is no more now, right? Like, so anyways, I went to The Weeknd in May, at the start of May, and okay, I'll just keep talking. But I went to The Weeknd with my brothers, because again, Hurry Up Tomorrow, like, I forced that album on everyone. Maybe not, I think a lot of people wanted to listen to it anyways, because let's be honest, The Weeknd is truly the greatest artist ever. And especially the hype around like, this is the last Weeknd album. So I think a lot of people did want to listen to the album on their own. And it was a phenomenal work of art, but also my little brothers listened to it, and they were convinced to go to the tour with me. And so we saw The Weeknd. Amazing. The greatest thing ever. And then later that month, I hit up my second concert of the year at the end of the month, which was Kendrick Lamar and SZA when they did their tour, and also a great show. I don't have any evidence of it here, but like because I'm a concert person. I love concerts. And I've seen Kendrick, I think that might have been my 5th time seeing Kendrick. I'm not, that I could be, like, it's been a few times, obviously, but that number might be not be accurate. It might be 4, it might be 6. I don't know. But point is, I've seen Kendrick a few times. SZA, I think I had only seen once before this. Yeah. And so now it's always, I always really love, actually for literally all of these. Okay, the first time that I saw The Weeknd and the first time that I saw Kendrick, I'm pretty sure were like a day apart. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember who went first, but I'm pretty sure I want to say it was Kendrick first, and then the next day I went to see The Weeknd. One or the other. Point is, I'm pretty sure they were like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to get at, or the reason that I'm bringing this up, is because I saw them both at Celebrity Theater. So if anyone's local to Arizona and knows of Celebrity Theater, it is the cutest little baby venue. Like, even if you got the nosebleeds in Celebrity Theater, you're still very close. Like, it's the cutest little venue. And so I always love, I really should have thought this through better. That could have been a cool video because like I saw them both in that tiny little venue, literally like days apart, a day apart, 1 day apart. And then this year to see them again in the same month in the stadium, at the same stadium, because I'm pretty sure Kendrick was also at the stadium. So like, anyways, that's what I'm trying to say is like I saw them both at this tiny little venue, and then I saw them both in a full stadium, and I just think it's one of my favorite things is to be like just to see, because I've seen the growth. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then okay, May, we got to talk about May. We got to talk about May because in May I'm missing moments. It doesn't matter. This doesn't have to be an exact timeline of the year. In May, my friend Terrace calls me. And I'm like, yo, what's up? And he's like, yo, what's up? I'm sorry. I need to focus. I need to lock in on my stories. At some point around May, Terrace calls me, and Terrace is one of my friends from Oye's. I don't know if I've talked about Oye's enough on the podcast because, again, the podcast hasn't really been active for this past year. But Oye's is a like anime-inspired clothing brand here in Arizona. You should look them up. And I met them through conventions when I like finally started, my cosplay journey and started going to conventions and XYZ. And then I made a cosplay Instagram and started following local cosplayers, photographers, whatever, just local people in the anime scene, I guess. And one of my social media friends is a girl named Sophie. And so Sophie is like, turns out the nicest person ever. And so we just became good like social media friends. And then I don't remember the exact convention, but at one of the conventions through social media, we were like, let's meet, like, let's say hi, let's meet. And so Sophie was at the Oye's booth and was like, oh, come by, I'll be here at this booth, blah, blah, blah. And so I went over and met Sophie in person for the first time because, again, we're just social media friends. Met her for the first time, and then from there, I now know of the Oye's booth because she was at the Oye's booth. And so then a few other conventions had passed too, and like I would always try to stop at the Oye's booth and say hi, so obviously get to know the whole team, blah, blah, blah. And there was another mini convention. That's the one I missed. That I'm like, I'm missing pieces. I don't know when it was. But there was another mini convention somewhere before May. And I had gone strictly just to hang out with Oye's. Because, again, now I'm like getting to know them better. And like we're friends. We're friendly. We're friends. So I went to the mini convention. Just hung out at the booth. Hung out with the team. And we were just hanging out. And then from there, I think we like hung out a little bit after the convention, and yeah, had a great time. Cool. First time like hanging out outside of a convention, and it was like awesome. And so then shortly after that, Terrace calls me. Hey, how's it going? What's going on? And they had already been accepted to DreamCon, and I've talked about DreamCon on this podcast before, so anyone that's been around knows about DreamCon. And knows about me and my desire and dream to go to DreamCon. Anyways, and so Terrace and Oye's had already been accepted into DreamCon, and I like was super excited for them. Like, this is huge. Like, that's so cool. That's so exciting. And so he calls me and he's like, listen, I don't know if I'll be able to make this happen, but I want to try. And so obviously I would need I would need your approval. I would need to see if you are interested. But would you want to go to DreamCon with us? What? If I already told this story on the podcast, my apologies. But honestly, not really, because you know what? Let's relive it again. So I'm trying not to get my hopes up because, I don't know. You never know what could happen. And like, I'm also like, okay. So he tells me this, and I'm like, trying to keep my cool, not freak out, not scare him away. I'm like, I would love that. I would love that. Let me know if it's a possibility, Just let me know. No big deal if it's not, but like if it is, just let me know. And so now we're kind of like in communication on like, can we make this happen? Can we make this happen? And again, I'm trying not to get my hopes up because I don't want to get my heart broken. Because again, we know how much I have wanted to go to DreamCon and how much I love RDC World. Like truly, truly. And so I really don't want to get my heart broken, girl. Like, please. So he's double checking if he can even like add another pass for me. Like they're double checking if I fit in the van. Like he's double checking the logistics. Me, I'm freaking out because I'm like, what am I going to do? Like I can't say no. The opportunity of a lifetime to go to DreamCon. Are you kidding me? And not have to go. Because one of my obstacles is that like, who am I going to go with? My brothers don't want to go. I don't have that. I really don't have friends, right? Like I don't have friends that are as obsessed with RDC World, as into DreamCon and like anime conventions, and as willing to like spend money. Like it truly, I'm like this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I have to. If they can pull it off, like I have to pull it off. And so we're going back and forth. Just like in communication, not like going back and forth, like arguing, nothing like that. We're just in communication. We're just talking, trying to iron out the details or whatever the saying is, seeing if this could be a possibility. It's looking like it can be a possibility. So now it's on me. Now it's up to me. Let me know if you can confirm. Like confirm for me. I'm ready. Like I just one button and like you have a pass. And so now I'm freaking out because I don't think I mentioned this part, but this was literally like 2 weeks before DreamCon. So 2 weeks notice, very last minute. And so I have 2 jobs. One of them I don't get paid for, but I still got to show up. I got to get my hours. My other one is my real job. My real job, my manager's amazing. And so I tell her, because spoiler alert, my birthday's in June. And so I tell her, I'm like, I got the opportunity of a lifetime to go to DreamCon. However, it's very last minute. Can we make it work? And she's like, girl, yes. Because again, it's my birthday too. And so one job, check, cool. And honestly, that's the one that pays me. So like, I feel like as long as that one's good, then cool. My internship though, that's the one I was freaking out about. Because again, I started in March, April, May. I've been there 3 months. I don't know how that one's going to go. Because again, like very last minute requesting the time off. I have clients, I have a caseload, so I would have to be adjusting that and either rescheduling clients or canceling. Like, I'm scared. I'm scared to ask. Because again, like I've also only been there a few months. Like I haven't really gotten a super good feel on my supervisor and like, is she going to be cool with this or is she going to be like, no? And so I presented to her like this because I mean, honestly, low-key, it's true. But I was like, listen, my friends surprised me with an opportunity to go to DreamCon for my birthday. This is a convention that I've dreamed about going to for years. I never thought I would be able to go. I literally like transportation set up, Airbnb set up, like financially too, like this is an opportunity like I'll never have again. And I'm like, I had already looked, like I was proactive. I'm like, I had already looked at my schedule because it did work out. Actually, I don't remember how it worked out, but I think we left on like it's funny, we actually left literally the day after the Kendrick and SZA concert. But I can't remember what day of the week that was. Point is, like, it was like from the middle of the week to the middle of the week. And so it worked out where I was able to reschedule clients on just like the opposite of the week, if that makes sense. And so like if I normally saw, again, I can't remember the exact dates, but if I normally saw them like on Monday, I was back by like Thursday. So I could offer them a Thursday to reschedule. And so like client wise, it worked out where like I don't think I had to like cancel any clients. Like they all had options to reschedule in the same week. So nobody missed a session. And so anyways, that's how I presented it to her. And I told her that. I told her about my clients and the schedule and how like that's going to work out. And she's like, yeah, cool. You did everything you needed to do. Like, that's exciting. Like, have fun. And I'm like, freaking out. And I'm like, is this really happening? Like, trying not to like freak out inside, but like, is this really happening? Turns out, yes, it is really happening. So then we go to DreamCon. Again, literally the day after Kendrick and SZA. So like, I had to be and again, like, this is like, it's confirmed. And then I got like 1 full week and then like a few days and then we're leaving. Like, I had like a week and a half, 2 weeks to like process all of this and then get ready for DreamCon. I still can't believe I went to DreamCon this year. Like, what? So yeah, I go to the Kendrick and SZA concert. Boom. Great time. Go home. I think sleep for a few hours and then get up and go. And so, yeah, we drove to DreamCon, which was in Houston, Texas, because, again, Oye's is an anime-inspired clothing brand, and so we have clothing to take. And, we can't really take all of that on an airplane unless you pay a lot of money, probably. I don't know. Point is, they rented, like a big van, and we, like, had all of that, and so we had to drive. Girl, that was, actually, I don't remember. It was, like, 18 hours? I don't remember. I'm mixing it up with my train ride because one time I went on the train for like 30 hours. But I'm pretty sure the train was the 30 hours. This one, it was like 18 hours in a van. It was a long road. But I was, living my best life. I was just like, nothing could bring me down, girl. Nothing could bring me down. I'm going to DreamCon. And so then we get to Houston. We go to DreamCon. DreamCon could also be its own episode. I've already been yapping too much. But amazing. The greatest time of my life. I literally, I had a moment, and I filmed a lot. Have I put together a vlog? Obviously not, because have you seen a vlog? No. But I filmed a lot. I have a lot of footage, and I am still, listen, here's the thing, is like one day, sorry, I'm telling you, I need to wash my hair, so it's extra greasy. Anyways, I got lots of footage, lots of archives, and I'm still going to post them all. I don't care if they're 2 years old. I don't care. I'm going to post them. As soon as I get some time and I lock in on editing, they're all getting posted. Again, you're going to watch the vlog of me and me and my brothers when we went to Pokemon Go Fest in LA, literally like at this point probably 3 years ago. I don't care how old it is. The archives must be executed. They must be posted. So anyways, all that to say, I do have a lot of footage from DreamCon. I wish I obviously had like edited them and put them out right away, but unfortunately, again, as we talked about, the year's been really busy and really hectic, and so still to come at some point. I can't promise when, but at some point. But yeah, amazing. I literally had a moment because again, I was trying to film as much as I can because like once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, I don't know when I'll ever be here again. Hopefully next year, by the way. But in the moment, I'm like, I need to capture everything, and so I'm filming as much as I can. And while I was filming, I have like a clip of me when we were packing up and like loading up the van. I got so overwhelmed with emotions. I had just like a full breakdown. I closed the van and I was just like crying and like talking to myself just about how grateful I felt because I was just so overwhelmed. I don't know, that clip is kind of cringy because I'm literally crying. So I don't know if that'll make it to the vlog. It probably will. But anyways, so yeah, DreamCon. And we got back literally, I think, a few days before my birthday. So honestly, that was my birthday trip. Truly, that was my birthday trip, was going to DreamCon. But going to DreamCon with Oye's literally like solidified how much I love them and like their family now. And like I feel so like grateful and my heart is so full that they have adopted me into their little Oye's family. And so I'm locked in for DreamCon 2026, hopefully, and more events, hopefully. Because, anyways, I gotta move on. But that was truly, truly the highlight. So now we're in June. My birthday happens right after DreamCon. So again, DreamCon was kind of the birthday gift. Later that month, I go out to LA finally. I think that was the only time I went to LA this year. But I go out to LA finally, hanging out with Orlando. You want to know why? Because we went to see The Weeknd again. Woo! So, Orlando, I think, was a little bit mad at me. But I did tell him, I think he just thought I was joking. Because I was like, listen, Because whenever concerts happen, he's my concert buddy. Unless it's an emo concert, he's not interested. But other than that, like, he's my concert buddy. And so we always got to decide, are we going to Phoenix or are we going to LA? Because obviously he lives in LA and I live here. And so one of us has to travel. But I told him when the Weeknd announced the tour and when the tickets went on sale, I literally was like, I'm going to both. Are you coming to both? And he's like, again, he thought I was joking. But we already had Kendrick booked for May, and the first Weeknd concert was in May. And again, he would have to come out here because the May concert was here. And we already had Kendrick booked here. And so he was already coming out in May. And so it would have been too much for him to also come out twice in May for the Weeknd and for Kendrick. And so he was like, no, we got to do LA. And I was like, all right. But again, I had mentioned I'm going to both. And so I did go to both. And he was a little bit mad. I offered him to go. I told him, if you would have done it to me, I would have been pissed. But I also, anyways, moving on. Point is, now we're in LA for Weeknd round 2. And when I went to the Weeknd here in Phoenix, I got floor seats because I just need, again, like, I just want to be as close to him as possible. But I also know that floor seats don't really give you the best visuals at concerts. And so I truly probably only got floor seats because I knew that I would also be in LA. And in LA, floor seats were way too expensive. And so we were on the first level. And so I knew that I would have a better visual of the show in LA. And so because of that, I was like, I can get floor seats here because it's fine, And so floor seats in Phoenix, again, not the best. I couldn't, like when he was in front of me, walking by me like right there, amazing, worth it all. But other than that, I couldn't really see him. But again, it was okay because I knew I would see him in LA. And so in LA, we were on like the first level. So I was able to see the entire stage and it was beautiful, like the most amazing, like it was just the greatest thing ever. And so, again, just on cloud 9 or whatever the saying is, like just incredible. July, I guess I didn't write anything down in July. So I don't know what I did in July, truly. I don't know. I probably just got home and went back to work and I don't know. I couldn't remember. And so now we're in August. In August, I go to a little convention here locally with Oye's. I didn't cosplay once this year, sadly. Again, I just didn't have, like, I wanted to cosplay. I had plans for a cosplay. I just didn't have the mental power, time, energy to actually make a cosplay and put one together. So I just didn't. So like at DreamCon, again, it was very last minute that I got added. So I didn't really have time to plan for a cosplay, but also like DreamCon is in my eyes like such a big convention that like I would want to do a cosplay that like was well thought out and like well planned for and well executed, and so it's fine next year. So anyways, August was Sabo TenCon here in Phoenix, and I went with Oye's. I think for that one I went I did buy a whole weekend pass. Sabo runs like, I think that one falls on a holiday. What is that? Labor Day or something? I don't know. I think it runs 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But I think that I had to work Friday and Monday. And so I think I only went Saturday and Sunday. I don't know. Point is, I went to Sabo, but I think I only went 2 days, and I think it was a longer event. That one I also did post a little vlog on my YouTube channel for, so that's exciting. See a few little random vlogs. I think I've been better at executing like the low pressure vlogs, Like DreamCon obviously was such a big event in my life personally that like the vlog needs to be perfect. Like when I went to Mexico last year, such a big event again in my eyes and in my life that like another one where like I feel like they feel more high stakes, so I feel like I need to put more energy into them versus, no offense to like Easter and Sabo, but like I just like knocked that out in a few hours and just like cool, boom, done. And so I do have a vlog of Sabo on my YouTube channel. September, all I wrote down was a few going to the movies. Hamilton, the musical, went into theaters, and I love Hamilton. I've loved Hamilton for 10 years. I've seen Hamilton live 3 times, 4 times, 4 times, never with the original cast, sadly. But obviously, point is, I love Hamilton, and so anything Hamilton related, I need to support. However, it was advertised as a sing along, and so I was really like indecisive on if I wanted to go see it, because movie theaters, that's the one thing that I do alone. Like I talk all this mess about like not being able to do things by myself, but going to the movies, I do go by myself quite often, and really enjoy that. And so normally I go to the movies by myself, but again, it's being advertised as a sing along, and so in my mind I'm scared that like I can't be that creepy person in the corner by yourself just singing, you know? And also, I get overstimulated, and I didn't want other people, like, what if other people were singing annoyingly? Like, that was going to piss me off. And so I was really indecisive, and so I did end up asking a friend. I was like, you want to go see Hamilton? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I didn't have to go alone. And thankfully, my theater was quiet. Like there was, I like a little bit sang to myself mostly. I didn't want to be like I saw some videos online of people at the sing-alongs, like standing up, phone lights on, like doing a full production. I'm like, that would piss me off. That would piss me off because like I'm still here to like see the actual musical. So I like sang to myself, like whisper singing. But really like it was not distracting at all. So it was great. I think September also is when Demon Slayer's Infinity Castle dropped. I think, I don't know. Around that time, I don't know. I don't know if it was September, October, I really don't remember. But Infinity Castle dropped from Demon Slayer, and Demon Slayer is, of course, one of my top 5 animes. I love it so much. And Infinity Castle is when things get... Because Demon Slayer's... Is it the only manga that I've... No, I read JJK2 fully. One of the like the first and one of the few mangas that I like read in its entirety. And so Infinity Castle is when things start getting like crazy, and again it's Demon Slayer, so like I think we went 2 or 3 times to see Demon Slayer in theaters. Amazing, phenomenal, chef's kiss, beautiful. Moving on to October, we're almost at the end, guys. I know I talk a lot, but it's been a year, and I've barely been around, so you're welcome, actually. I have a lot of catching up to do is what I'm getting at. October, I have another concert. I love concerts. October, I'm going to Bring Me the Horizon, like, so exciting. However, a little bit of obstacles with getting to this concert, because again, remember I said Orlando's my concert buddy? He's not interested in any of my emo music. He wasn't going to Bring Me the Horizon with me, you know? And I have a much harder time finding people to go to my emo concerts with, because again, unfortunately, not everybody is as down as me. Not everybody is as down as me. And I just love live music. And so when I say, like, I've seen The Weeknd several times, Kendrick several times, like, I've seen these artists several times. Like, some people are like, you've already seen him, why would you see him again? What a dumb question. Anyways, so point is, not everyone's as down and willing to go to concerts. And so thankfully my cousin is down to go to this one. Cool. And it's in her birthday month. I'm like, you know what? Talk about a birthday gift. I don't like a concert. Boom. Amazing. Phenomenal. It's going to be great. Girl, my cousin ends up getting sick the day of. I felt so bad, but I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, what does this mean? You're like, I felt so bad. And obviously, you know, not on purpose, you know, she was sad to miss this concert. But yeah, my cousin texts me like while I'm getting ready, like for, you know, doing my makeup, like getting ready for the concert. She's like, yo, I'm not feeling well. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what do you mean you're not feeling well? And then it just gets worse from there. She's fine. She's good. But she did go to the hospital that day. And I'm like, and I'm freaking out because obviously I don't know what's going on with her. I want her to be okay first and foremost. And then selfishly, I'm like, wait, but like, what about the concert? Because I'm literally doing my makeup. Like, I'm putting my eyelashes on and I'm like ready to, you know, to go. And again, my cousin's like not feeling well. She's going to the hospital. And so like she's busy. So she's not really texting me back, which again, I'm not saying that in a mean way. But so then I text my other cousin and I'm like, hey, listen, cousin's not feeling great. I know this probably sounds bad, but like we're going to a concert. Like, or we, do I like, do I still go to the concert? Like, what? I'm freaking, I'm an overthinker, guys. I'm an overthinker. And so I'm like, what does this mean? What do I do? And so I'm driving to my mom's because that's closer to the concert. And so like, yeah, I'm driving to my mom's and, I'm like on the phone, like trying to like figure out like, well, like obviously not on the phone with like hands free, guys, hands free. Don't drive distracted ever. But yeah, I'm like on the phone. I'm calling like my tia. I'm like, is my cousin okay? Like, what's going on? And at this point, I haven't like really heard back. But she's at the hospital, and the concert starts. Like, she's at the hospital. And you know, hospitals probably take forever. Like, she hasn't been like taken back to be seen. Like, she's waiting, and the concert starts in like 2 hours. So like, let's be honest, she's not going to this concert. She's not going to the concert with me. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't know who to take, like who's gonna go to this concert with me, like, because again, remember we talked about like I can't do things by myself, guys. I'm scared of strangers. Something that I do really hope to overcome, but currently I just haven't succeeded in that. Anyways, so now I'm left with this task of like, I need to find somebody to go to this concert with. Also, I'm poor, so I paid for these concert tickets and they're on my credit card waiting to be paid off. And so I would really like to find somebody to go to this concert with who is also willing to buy the ticket off me. You know, like, please. So I'm calling anybody and everybody that I can. First I asked my brother, he's not interested. Next I call my cousin, he's not, like, I'm another cousin, obviously. Friends, like, I'm literally just like asking anybody and everybody. And it gets to the point where like everyone's telling me no, which also, I must confess, really hurt me and like bothered me on a deeper level, which like I should probably explore further separately. But I was just like, bro, first of all, do you guys not know that I have anxiety, like crippling anxiety, and like I can't do this by myself? So I don't know, you guys can't do this one thing for me, like a fun thing for me, but like to help me out, because you know that like your girl's struggling. And so anyways, it got really bad. And like at one point someone was like, yeah, cool. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can breathe. And then a little bit later it was like, actually no. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like the concert literally started. And I'm still at home freaking out, trying to figure out who's going to this concert with me. Oh my God. It was a mess, bro. I'm like crying. It was a mess. Yeah, it was a disaster. And again, I was really bothered. And again, selfishly, right? Because at the end of it, like, no, nobody is required to help me. Nobody is required to go out of their way to make time last minute for me. Like, nobody's required to do something they don't want to do. Obviously, I know that. Of course. But it just did really hurt because, again, I've talked about it on the podcast in the past, where just like I struggle with relationships and friendships and feeling like I'm never important enough in people's lives. And so it mostly just hurt that I didn't have people in my life that were willing to make an effort to do something like that for me last minute. If that makes sense. Like, obviously, again, I know it's a selfish feeling and it's a selfish ask, but the fact that like I didn't have anyone that would be like, let me try to figure something out. Like, yeah, let me figure it out for you because you are important to me and because I know how big this is for, like, anyways, a separate thing. Eventually, very last minute, obviously, because again, like I said, the concert started and like, I'm still freaking out. And I did have a friend that was at the concert, which also sucked because like, I had asked like, yo, what section are you in? Because I'm like, if at the end of this, like I do have to go alone, like maybe we're in a close section or something. Like, I don't know. I'm freaking out, guys. Nowhere close to my section. So no. And again, they were already there. I don't know. I'm freaking out. How many times can I say that I'm freaking out before you guys understand that I'm freaking out? So anyways, finally someone says yes. And I'm like, bro, can you be ready in 10 minutes? And yes, I'll be ready in 10 minutes. Here's the address. And thank goodness it worked out. Obviously, like, once it got way last minute, I was just like, bro, literally, like, you don't have to pay. Like, at this point, I'm just desperate. Like, the ticket's gonna go to waste anyways. Like, can someone just come with me? Because, again, obviously, ideally, I would have loved to maybe be compensated a little bit for the ticket. But, again, like, I was desperate. Like, I really have a hard time doing things alone. I was, like, having a panic attack. I was crying, just trying to, like, not miss the concert. Like, I was fighting mentally for my life to, like, not let my anxiety win and to miss out on this concert. I was just like, anyone that's willing to go with me, like, I don't care. Like, and yeah, so it was anyways, point is, someone finally said yes. We made it to the concert, missed all of the openers, but we didn't miss Bring Me the Horizon, so that's what matters. But we were we literally sat down, and I think, like, they came on very shortly after that. I don't know. I don't remember the timeline. It was all a blur. But the show was phenomenal. Great. Absolute chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. It was a great performance. Great show. Amazing time. And very thankful that I finally found someone to accompany me with. Man, I'm starting to not be able to speak because of how long I've been talking and not drinking any water. Yeah, so expensive concert, but a great time. And again, very thankful. And that's all. Moving on from that concert, I really am giving you guys like a full yearly recap. I'm not going to apologize because if you're here, you're here. You know? Moving on. In October, I went to Tucson with Oye's for another little convention. This was my first time going back to Tucson since I graduated college because, fun fact, I went to the University of Arizona in Tucson, Arizona, and so I lived in Tucson for a few years, and I like Tucson. Tucson's cool. I know a lot of people don't like Tucson. I had a good time. I stayed home most of the time, so I didn't it was peaceful. It was cool. But point is, this was my first time going back to Tucson since graduating. Now, granted, we did have a convention, so we were mostly busy the 2 days that we were there. So it's not like I went back to my old stomping grounds or anything like that. But point is, it was still a fun time. The weather was crazy. We were supposed to get a hurricane. Well, I guess we did get a hurricane that weekend, and so the weather was just madness. Because let's be honest, it's Arizona. Like, it doesn't, like, it's hot all the time. Like, even now, it's December 31st, and in the middle of the day, like, I'm sweating if I'm outside in a long sleeve, like, unfortunately. And so, we were getting a hurricane. There was crazy madness winds, and then it was, like, heat stroke level heat, all, like, just cycling, and so the weather was just crazy. It was ridiculous. And the reason that I bring that up is because when we came home, I ended up getting sick. I got sick, and I hadn't been sick all year. I hadn't been sick in like a year, and so I was very upset to be sick. Very upset to be sick. I mean, I don't blame myself because, again, the weather was literally like I'm sweating, having a heat stroke. Next thing you know, it's pouring rain like madness. Next thing you know, it's like crazy amounts of wind and like cold and like just all over the place. And so I blame that for me getting sick, sadly. But I got sick, and it was like a weird sick. I don't know if it's just because I hadn't been sick in a long time or like I just got extra sick. But like I didn't know that like when your immune system is messed up and when you're sick and when like your immune system is like bad, it can present in different ways. I started getting like crazy, like what I thought were like hives or rashes while I was sick. And so I was like, what is happening to me? Like where my skin would like welt up like crazy bad. And eventually I realized like, it's like if I like touched my skin or like scratched or anything, it would like get crazy. Like there's a skin condition like that where like if you like scratch yourself and like it welts up or turns like super red. But mine was like, it's not like that normally. It was just like during this month that I was sick. And it's gotten better, thankfully. But it did last for several weeks where my skin was just like really irritated and like it was really bad. It was actually very concerning, if I'm being honest. Anyways, point is, I'm better now. Obviously, I was sick for a little amount of time and then I got better. So now moving on to November. November was obviously Thanksgiving. For some reason, like I can't remember what Thanksgiving was like. Oh, I do remember. It's because it was just like a chill Thanksgiving. My sister's in New York, so it felt a little incomplete. But it was still cool. Obviously, I ate a lot, which is always nice. And then in November also, oh yays, we did a last minute little photo shoot. And if you know me, you know I love taking pictures. And so they called me and they're like, yo, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, probably going to bed. Like, what do you mean? And they're like, we're going to book a studio. Are you down for some pictures? And I'm like, say less. Let me get ready real quick. So then I like got to do my makeup and like go take some fun pictures. And like, it was just a great time. It was just a great time. I'm telling you, first of all, I love them. Oh, yes, those are my people. But also, I love taking pictures. And I haven't had the opportunity to really be creative and really, like, I don't know the last time I did a photo shoot, like an actual photo shoot. So it was fun. It was like we rented a studio and like it was like a DIY photo shoot. Like we were taking the pictures, but the point is, it was a good time and it was fun. Also November, I finally tackled some yard work. Shout out to my cousin who came through to help me. Because it had like, again, back to the initial point of like things have just really fallen apart for me in as far as like home stuff, I guess. I don't know. My yard needed some serious cleanup and love. And so we did tackle that in November again. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my cousin. And yeah, so at least one thing to check off. So that was a big thing for me because it needed to happen. And then moving on to December, we're wrapping up. We're almost done. And it was a great month. First things first, I dyed my hair green, which again, we already talked about. And yeah, so that was the start of the month. And literally the day I had my hair appointment, I actually also had a work holiday party. And so that day was go, go, go. Like I literally like had my hair appointment in the morning. I think it actually started with Formula One because I still love Formula One. I don't know if you guys knew that about me yet, but I love Formula One. And so I think there was, I don't remember if it was on a Sunday or Saturday. So there was either qualifying or the actual race. But I think it was a Saturday. Anyway, sorry. Anyways, I had to wake up early, watch Formula One, and then get ready. I did my makeup. Actually, while I was watching Formula One, I remember now. That way my makeup would be done because I knew my day was going to be jam-packed. And so then from there, I went to my hair, makeup already full glam, got my hair done. Hair appointment lasted a little bit, and then from there I booked it back home so I could change into like an outfit, and then had to book it to like wear, because it was a work holiday party, but it was at like 2 p.m. so it wasn't like a late one, like it was like in the middle of the day. So then I booked it to the restaurant that we were gonna be at. Embarrassing, I had a panic attack in front of everyone, guys, in front of everyone, I'm crying in the corner, like having a panic attack. My anxiety, I don't know, it was a few reasons, whatever. And so, but eventually, like, I ended up calming down, and like, it was a good time. And then from there, I went to my mom's, and I felt so bad, but like, she had wanted, that was her work holiday party day as well, but hers is in the evening, and she had asked me to go with her, and I didn't want to, but I also felt bad, so I was like, yeah, sure, like I'll go. So I drove to my mom's. Fun fact, I don't like driving. We know this. And so driving to my mom's sometimes gives me like really bad anxiety. Like just, especially, I don't know, it's December, the snowbirds are here, holiday traffic is here. Like it was just, and I literally had a panic attack like not that long ago. I've been up and like go all day. And so like by the time I got to my mom's, I literally parked and I was just like not mentally, not really there. And so then I was like, Mom, I don't think I can go. I don't think I could, because I've been to my mom's holiday parties before. They're a great time, but they like last several hours, like probably back home at like 11 p.m. And and like started at like I think it was like 5:30. It started at 6, but again, like I know she probably wouldn't be home till like late, and so I was like, I don't think I can go. Like I looked it up to see, I'm like, maybe I'll drive myself so I can just go home, but it was like a 40-minute drive, and I'm like, I just don't think I can go. And I felt so bad, and she was like, it's fine. Like mom's the best, but I felt really bad. I just didn't like that. So then yeah, so I didn't end up going, which I guess like good on me for boundaries, but also I was mad at I just felt really bad. And again, my mom didn't make me feel bad or anything like that. Like she was fine. It was just me. So yeah, and that was the end of that day. And then I was already at my mom's. I needed to be home the next day for Formula One, probably, if I'm being honest. So I knew I needed to drive home. I wasn't going to stay the night over there. Plus, I didn't have any of my stuff with me. And so, but I was just so pooped and exhausted. So I hung out there, honestly, just like laid around for, I don't know, probably a few hours. And then I drove home, got home, exhausted, didn't even want to take my makeup off, but I did. Went to sleep, woke up the next day bright and early to watch the race. And then I also had plans. No, then the next day, I had plans, but then also a cousin was having like also a last minute little get together, and I was like, do I want to do both? That's kind of a lot, but also I was like low key depressed because I think I just still had like a leftover of like the people like socializing, the panic attack. I don't know. So my headspace was really negative, and plus I think I did mention like the beginning of the month, like the holiday seasons, I was really struggling mentally. So my mental just wasn't really doing well. Like I just wanted to just like bed rot and just like, I don't know. But I did try to push myself. So I went to my cousins for their little party that they were having. I knew I would be leaving early because obviously I had other plans. So I went to that for a little bit, left early, and then I had a friend's. She was having a birthday party, but it was at like the cutest little like roller skating place. And so yeah, she's awesome, and she knows that like I really struggle with like my anxiety when it comes to driving. And the roller skating place was downtown, so she was like, "Come to my house, and then you can ride with us." And I'm like, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure it's your birthday? Like, I don't want to impose." And she's like, "Girl, come over here." And so that was a great time. I'm so happy that like I pushed, because I'm telling you, I was like, should I cancel? Should I cancel? And I didn't. And I had a great time, and it was so much fun and just an amazing time. And then that was that weekend. And I think that is at the, oh no, I forgot we're in December. I forgot we were in December and we're kind of wrapping up. I think the following weekend or some other weekend, Oye's had their holiday party. So I went over to the Oye's house. We had a little holiday party. That was also a great time. I was a little nervous because peopling, obviously I know Oye's, but it was like an actual party. Like they invited other people. Like I'm not their only, they're my only friends, but I'm not their only friend. So they invited their other friends and people, and so I was a little like shy and awkward, but it was a great time. I had lots of fun, and yeah, it was awesome, and I love them. I love them so much. And then now we're to the holidays, and we had I don't know, at some point, me and my cousins were talking about kind of like documenting our family time, and just really making time to have quality family time. And so every year, obviously for Christmas, we make tamales, and the tias always make the tamales. Shout out to the tias. They always tell us when tamales are going to be made, but like I never go because it's a lot of work. And so I just never go. This year, we all agreed to go. We all agreed to go because you know what? We're the next generation. And also just quality time, learn how to do the things, document, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, you know what? I'll bring my camera. I'll vlog. I filmed a lot. Obviously, haven't put anything together, but point is I did film a lot. So the cousins agreed to go this year. And sorry, my nose got tickly. The cousins agreed to go this year. So we had a Sunday where we all did the tamales. It was a lot of work. Girl, I'm not cut out for that life. I was not good at it was hard. It was hard work, but it was a fun time because again, like we were all there, and like I got to film some stuff. And yeah, that was Sunday before Christmas. And so Monday, Tuesday of Christmas week, I was at home locked in working. Boring. But my sister came from New York, so she was here for Christmas. And so then we had Christmas on Christmas Eve because we're Mexican. And so Christmas is on Christmas Eve. And then after that, we went to my mom's, and I think that's where this story started. Sorry. Could you hear that? My bad. My bad, guys. I think that's where the story started, where I was talking about how I stayed at my mom's all week and really relaxed. Because yeah, so we went. When was Christmas? On a Wednesday? Yeah, so got there Wednesday night, opened our presents, and then slept in a lot on Christmas Day, which is a nothing day for us. Like, it's, again, we already did Christmas the night before. So then we just hung out, and then Friday, hung out some more, slept in a lot. Saturday, Sunday, hung out some more. And then my sister went back to New York Sunday night. I was too lazy to drive home, so I still stayed the night over there. And then I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to drive home on Monday because I had work at 6. And then right back to it. It was Monday I was a little bit scrambly, honestly, because it was just like, again, go, go, go. And I was like, I didn't even get a chance to like breathe. Like, it's just, yeah. So, and now we're here. And it's the last day of the year. I've been talking for a long time, but obviously I missed you guys. Obviously, I hope, I don't know, can you tell? Like, I'm in a good, silly, goofy mood because, again, reflection, I feel like, does such a good job in regards to, like, just feeling grateful, like just putting our headspace in just gratitude. Like, truly, I think having gratitude and actively practicing gratitude makes such a difference when it comes to like helping our mental health. And so I love being able to look back. And again, like earlier this month, I was just so over it. And like, I didn't even like all the stuff that I just mentioned were just such good, fun moments this year. And I would have forgotten all about them if I wouldn't have sat down and like reflected and like looked at pictures and looked at videos and like, okay, what did this year look like? And it was still great. And I did all of this fun stuff while working and like being in my master's program and like not having like, I feel like normally, during internship year, it's like you have no life. And so even though I'm burnt the fuck out, I did still have a life this year. And yeah. So I guess that's it, right? Like, I talked about who knows what, and then I gave you guys a recap of the year. And next year I do really want to, again, like really make an effort to tap back into my creative like interest, which vlogging, content creation, crafting, cosplaying, podcasting, like all the things that I like to do. I really hope to make sure that I am making time for them more next year. So I know this year was very inconsistent with the podcast, very absent with the podcast. And I hope that next year I'll be around a little bit more, honestly. Anyways, all right, I think I'm done. Again, my apologies. I know I yap. No, I'm not apologizing because, again, first of all, this is my podcast, girl. Like, and if you're still here, it's because you want to be here. So I appreciate you for listening. I hope that if you haven't yet, you take a moment to literally just sit down, even if it's 5 minutes, and reflect and just look back on your year. And remember that even if your year, like everyone's life, it looks differently. So, I gave my little recap. I had some really amazing moments that I just feel extremely blessed to have been able to have this year. But even if your year looked differently, if all you accomplished or all you did this year was just making it through, like, please give yourself your flowers. Please give yourself the praise that you deserve, because life is hard. Life is hard. Life is hard, and life is hard. And again, even if all you were able to handle this year was making it through, that does deserve to be celebrated. So I do hope that you take a moment, you look back on 2025, and you just find some of that light and some of that goodness and some of those great moments, even if they're little. Even if on the surface you may think that they're not significant or they're not much, those little moments still matter so much. And again, like, whatever you made it through, you made it through. And now we have this opportunity to start a new year in a grateful mindset, and just like really tackle 2026. I hope that it is just a beautiful year for everybody, honestly. And to more adventures, to more memories, to more growth, yeah. All right. Well, Happy New Year. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for reflecting on my 2025 with me. And I hope to see you more in 2026. Bye.